So, how did we end up living right on the beach in Panama for less than $50 a day?
And was it actually as good as it looked on Airbnb?
After living at Playa Caracol for almost 5 weeks, we can tell you what we love about it.
And a few things we wish we had known before we got here. Welcome to Postcards at Our Pace. I'm Greg,
And I'm Tammy.
and we're a retired couple who sold almost everything we had and are traveling the world full time with our little dog, Brody.
Now, last week we shared Brody's story, the process of bringing him with us to Panama. Because of Panama's requirements, we knew that we were going to be spending our first several weeks mostly at home with him. So the question was, where did we want that home to be? Panama City did make a lot of practical sense.
It has grocery stores, restaurants, doctors, transportation. It's a large metropolitan city with pretty much everything we could need.
But the ocean always calls to me.
Tammy gave up a lot to chase this crazy dream with me, and she loves the ocean. So I really wanted our first stop to be someplace that she would love.
Which meant Greg had a new research project.
I do love a good research project. When we started looking at beach communities along this part of Panama's Pacific coast, we had a few practical requirements. We didn't want to arrive after a long travel day and then spend another 3 or 4 hours in the car. We also needed someplace that would be easy with Brody, who, as usual, is crashed on the couch.
Right.
And because we're trying to make this lifestyle sustainable, we try to keep our monthly housing cost under about $2,000 a month whenever we can.
We also discovered pretty quickly that a lot of the beach communities here are built around high-rise condominiums. Now, normally that wouldn't bother us, but when you have a dog who needs to go outside several times a day,
Waiting for an elevator quickly loses its charm.
so Playa Caracol started moving up towards the top of our list. It was close enough to Panama City. It had a beautiful beach, and there were several different types of accommodations instead of just high-rise towers. And then Greg found the condo.
We ended up with a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo on the second floor and has a covered balcony directly facing the beach. And one of the biggest selling points for us was that we have direct access to the outside. There's no elevator required.
Which Brody appreciates.
Very much. Every morning we get up, we make our coffee, and we sit outside and watch the ocean. Brody takes up his normal position in the corner of the balcony where he can monitor the beach and survey his domain.
He takes his responsibilities very seriously.
Nothing gets past him. And then there's the price. So when you book an Airbnb for 28 days or longer, you can sometimes get a pretty significant monthly discount. We rented this condo for 49 days for about $2,400. That works out to less than $50 a day, or roughly $1,500 a month. We will have an additional electricity charge at the end of the stay, but even with that,
It seemed a little bit too good to be true. Before we started traveling, I told Greg there was one thing that was really important to me. I gave up my beautiful home to pursue this dream, and I wanted the places that we stayed to feel like someplace I would actually live. Because this isn't a vacation. Our condo is actually our home while we're here. We cook, we clean, we do laundry,
you do laundry.
we read, we work on videos.
I work on videos.
You work on videos. We do the normal things that you do at home. The surroundings may look like a vacation, but when you're living like a nomad, you're not really on vacation.
That's one of the things that we're learning about this lifestyle. It's not about running out every morning and trying to see everything. You have to build a routine. So we get up and we have a coffee on the balcony watching the ocean, and then we make breakfast and we eat that out on the balcony. When it gets hot, we work inside or take advantage of the pool. And then when the sun starts going down and the temperature drops, we do our nightly walk, only this time we're walking on the beach.
And after a while, you just develop a rhythm. It starts feeling less like someplace you're visiting and more like someplace that you live. I actually think it was about the end of the second week or the third week when everything started feeling less like we were just staying somewhere and more like this was home. So, of course, the biggest reason to live at Playa Caracol is the beach. This part of Panama's Pacific coast is known as the Pacific Riviera, and Playa Caracol sits along a long, long stretch of sandy beach near Punta Chame. The surf can be pretty heavy here, which makes it really popular with surfers. Well, Greg even started learning how to surf.
Because at 62 years old with an artificial knee, learning to surf is the next logical thing to do.
Playa Caracol is still growing, but there's already quite a bit here. There's pools, pickleball courts, basketball courts. There's a gym for the hotel guests. There's surf lessons and other activities. Depending on the season, you'll even find things like yoga and the spa services and whale watching excursions.
But one of the things we've enjoyed most isn't really an amenity. It's watching how Panamanian families use this place. The resort seems to have been designed in a large part for people coming out from Panama City for weekends and holidays. And you can really see the difference between the week and the weekend.
Right, like during the week, we pretty much have the place to ourselves.
And then Friday afternoon arrives. Families come in and kids fill up the pools. People gather around the grills. You'll see whole groups sitting under the beach shelters, talking and eating for hours.
And because Panama's beaches are public, you'll also see families coming in just to spend the day at the beach. One thing we've really appreciated is that despite having more people here on the weekends, it never feels like a party resort. It's mostly families, kids, dogs, people just spending time together,
And nobody's walking up to you every 5 minutes trying to sell you a bracelet.
which I appreciate very much.
Now we need to talk about one of the more important aspects of any place we live, which is food.
Of course we do.
Playa Caracol has several places to eat. Waves is the main hotel restaurant, and it's open every day during our stay. We've eaten there several times. The food's been consistently good. The staff is very friendly. Just one tip, most of the staff primarily speak Spanish. You absolutely do not have to be fluent, but knowing a few words or phrases or being willing to pull out your phone really helps.
We're actually getting a lot of opportunities to practice our Spanish.
During low season, some of the other restaurants have more limited schedules. Bento Beach Club has things like sandwiches and wood-fired pizza. There's a surf shack down at the end of the beach. It has hamburgers and fish sandwiches. And there's also the sushi restaurant near the hotel pool.
But we should probably talk about the place that Greg visits more often than any of those.
The mini market.
Yeah, I don't think we've had a single day since we've been here when Greg has not gone to the mini market.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. We were actually surprised by how much they carry. We bought bug spray, eggs, bread, milk, the usuals, ice cream. Yeah, the essentials. You couldn't do all of your grocery shopping there for sure, but for the things that you forgot or the things that Greg decides that we suddenly need.
It's been invaluable. So far, all of this sounds pretty good. We have the Beachfront Condo, beautiful view, restaurants, pools. It's all less than $50 a day.
And it is good. But Playa Caracol is also a developing community, and there are a few things that have been more challenging than what we expected.
Should we start with the big one?
The 7 Mile Road.
7 Mile Road.
When you're from Texas and someone tells you something is 7 miles away, you think, oh, that's nothing. 10 minutes, maybe 15.
Or 30.
Right. When we're filming this in August of 2026, they're in the middle of rebuilding and repaving the road between the Pan American Highway and Playa Caracol, and they have made progress just in the time that we've been here.
But right now, there are still stretches that are rough. And this is the only road in and out of Playa Caracol and Punta Chame. So every time you leave, you're driving it. And every time you come back,
You're driving it again.
it's become part of the experience.
And that road leads to the second thing that we didn't fully appreciate before we got here. Playa Caracol is remote. The larger grocery stores, the pharmacies, the shops, and many of the other services that we've needed are in Coronado. Before we came, we kept seeing that Coronado was about 30 minutes away.
Which is technically true, perhaps.
Perhaps. During our stay with the road construction, most of our trips have been closer to 40 to 45 minutes and sometimes even longer.
We've always been able to get an Uber if you reserve it in advance. But if we were staying here permanently or even for several months, having a car would make life a lot easier.
Playa Caracol feels very self-contained until you need something that Playa Caracol doesn't have.
And healthcare is a good example. So Coronado has doctors, dentists, labs, pharmacies. San Carlos, which is nearby, also has urgent care services. So if you need emergency care, you've got that available. But again, you're talking about a drive. So there isn't currently a medical clinic here inside Playa Caracol.
Which means you have to plan ahead. If you need a prescription filled or if you want to see a doctor, it's not something that you necessarily do just 5 minutes down the road.
And we actually had to make that trip ourselves. I needed an EKG for an insurance application, which was about $35 to give you an idea of what medical care costs. And I had to refill some prescriptions. So it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a major problem, but it's definitely something that you have to consider and plan for if we were going to live here full time.
Right.
And if you need a hospital, you're probably going towards Panama City.
There's another kind of distance that we didn't think about quite as much before we started traveling, and that's community. Now, one of our goals was to just try to find churches that we could connect with as we traveled, and we knew that finding English-speaking churches or even churches that could accommodate English speakers might sometimes be difficult. It's hard to walk into someone else's community knowing that you're only going to be there a few weeks.
You're asking people to welcome you in and put you to work when they know you're leaving almost as soon as you arrive.
It's humbling to be on this side. We're still trying to figure that out. But one thing that we've been very thankful for is that we can still worship virtually with our home congregation in Fort Worth. When almost everything around you is unfamiliar, there's something really comforting about seeing familiar faces and singing familiar songs. For right now, we're grateful for that.
So after 5 weeks here, knowing about the road, knowing how far we are from grocery stores and doctors, knowing that the community is still being built, would we choose Playa Caracol again?
I would. I wanted our first home in this adventure to just be someplace that I would love waking up to every morning. And this definitely has been.
Yeah, and I would too, but I think we'd come into it with different expectations. If what you want is to walk out the door and have dozens of restaurants, stores, and activities around, this probably isn't the place.
But if you want to slow down, if you want to wake up at the ocean, walk on the beach at sunset, if you're comfortable trading a few conveniences for all of this, then Playa Caracol is pretty special.
And for us, it turned out to be a pretty great place to begin.
Next week, we're going to share why we chose Panama.
So if you're enjoying following our journey, we'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like the stories, photos, and details that don't always make it into the videos, we've linked our free postcards at our Pace Substack in the description below. And if you want to learn more about our story, click on one of these videos.
Until next week,
Bye.
bye.
All right, are we settled? Apparently not. And this is the only road in and out of Playa Caracol and Punta Chame. So every time you leave, you're driving on it.
You want to say that again because
Yeah.
you kind of stumbled over that.
Because I realized I was going to say Playa Caracol wrong. Caracol. But I don't think we're ever going to get that right.
Maybe not.